Okay, so I'm doing my 4-period histogram moving average, which is creating a cloud. And I just want to run through the trades as I see them coming up and rehearse structured trades along with this cloud system, I guess you could call it. Or let's just say smoothing the data out to reduce noise. A lot of people want to do this. I'm in the half-hour euro dollar somewhere in time, starting 2018, January 24th, I think. This has got the European date, which is kind of inverted. I never got over that problem either. Everybody has a different format just to torture us. But let's see. Now I've got the stop bot. Somebody asked me about how do you claim that you can make money without knowing where the market's going. Well, the ATR bot proves that. Typically. Well, on the 4-hour chart, it certainly does. And maybe not on the half-hour chart. Most robots that are trading breakout aren't going to do well on the 1-minute chart. So when people say the 1-minute chart, really don't. You have to trade structure on the 1-minute chart. I don't think you can trade breakouts, okay, unless you're trading so fat and you have such a tight stop on your broker and you have low commissions. Okay. Like, what kind of trader are you? Are you a swing trader? Now, the swing traders are fundamental traders because they got plenty of time for the market to make sense with the way they interpreted the news. If you think that your interpretation, here's another fallacy of fundamental analysis. If that was true, don't you think the big boys have the best analysis and they're just all going to go in the same direction and then the market's just going to have what? Also, this the idea that these banks are losing money is just a crock. I mean, that's the way of saying it's bad. Think about it, people. Look at this thing. Now, the beauty of this robot. Look at the trailing stop. You see the money management coming in here? Look at this bitch. Okay, so this is how I'm calling it. Right now, I just bought at the market. Why? Because it just went down like a horror. Why am I long? Because we just filled this fucking area. I'm scalping to the floor here. I'm out. You can see people got out, right? You dump, you reload on limits, okay? I'm just trading one currency. I'm getting filled on limits. I'm getting filled on limits right here in the basement, right? I'm building a position long. I don't know how long it's going to go down for. I've never seen this data set on the half hour. This is rinse and repeat bullshit we see all day long. You should be able to trade this. I'm waiting for one of these no-nonsense Forex douchebags to come up and trade like I'm doing right now on the strategy tester. Okay, anybody can do this. Come on, people. Break out the 1-minute chart and ask yourself if you can really trade that. Boom, I just cashed out. You see that? Everybody cashed out with me. Did you see it reject that price? Do you need to be on the 1-minute chart? No. You want to be in the 1-minute chart because you want to see, and we just closed the half hour. You see how that thing just boom right at the end of the half hour? You see that? You see how the half hour matters? Now I'm holding the swing trade, right? I've scalped to the floor. I'm holding the swing trade. Even the breakout bot got that one right. So here is the low ATR in the cloud. We can build a short and a long positions here. How do you make money without knowing where the market's going? Buy stops never fill. Sell stops fill. When do you put on a hedge? Okay. Is this really that difficult? You can't put on a hedge during this whole thing here. You need to be getting filled on your limits. Can't you see the trade you should be doing? Why would you run a 200-period moving average on this and ruin the structure, ruin the auction? And why does this come ripping back? Because it went ripping down. It created an imbalance, a void, a vacuum, a loomage. I just don't get why. And apparently, this is Wayne he's retarded. Like Pike was more intelligent. But what the fuck is he thinking? And the hotspot guy, yeah, that's a hotspot. You see the sellers just scalp off that? Did you see that? Did you catch that? You got to watch the market more often, I suppose, to catch this shit. But did you see how the rejection of that, or the not rejection, the acceptance, and then we're done. Is it rejecting or is it accepting? Vacuums accept, and narrow ranges, there's a trade for this, okay? All I'm saying, there's a trade for this, and it's not the same as the trade for this. This could be market orders. They could be shallow limits to go the other way, because the guys that have the goober retail trade that's supposed to be 95% of people are losing at, the breakout of this area just made a pantload of money. Come on. Really? Now, when you're playing back the half-hour chart at maximum speed here in Strategy Tester, don't forget, you're rehearsing reality. The market's not going to move this fast. You can't make money at this rate of change. And going to the 1 minute chart to think you're going to do that, you better have your fucking left hand on the hotkeys and your right hand on your mouse, and you better be ready to pull the trigger. You're going to have to, it's a different kind of war. You're either going to win this war, if you think it's the war room, with limit orders, which are like claymore mines laying around, or like bear traps. If you're hunting bear, are you hunting bear with a gun or traps? Okay, this is the question. Are you a bear hunter? Oh, I'm a sniper. Get out of my way. Like this guy Edge that was coming after me with his Fibonacci's, and then he was all saying I was a wimp because I just placed buy limits down here. Well, I suppose you're just gonna put some buy limits down here. Yeah, I am. I'm that guy. Okay, I'm placing bear traps. I'm not gonna buy a bear gun and freeze myself off and babysit a bear or babysit a bull. But you know, if you're going to promote your brokerage firm, you know, Wayne has obviously got to stay on topic of, look at this currency pair, and he sits back and yells. Dude, if you're going to yell, buy better, bump up your, I mean, he's broadcasting in like 144 or some shit. 240. He's broadcasting at 240. So why did the market reverse up here, going back to the fucking market people? Jesus Christ. One more of these douchebags out here that fucking isn't even fucking trading. Wayne never puts on a trade. Neither does... you ever seen these... Oh, I'm going to put on a trade. Everybody stand back. How... You cannot figure this shit. Even this robot's getting this shit right. Look at this. Robot went long on a 1K. Let's see how this robot's doing. I got up on the wrong side of the bed, people. No, I mean, it's not doing too good because we're over trading it. We're on the half hour. This thing kills in the 4-hour chart. Most robots would. I don't even know why he just doesn't run a robot on the 4-hour chart, because all he's doing is taking dumb shit, confirmation setups, which you could tell a robot, okay, when you see this, this, and this, do that. What else? So I'm watching this trade at high speed. Somewhere in time, test yourself. Every day is unique. This is the Asian session, okay? This is the end of the day. That's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think, on this broker. We know that this is a double bottom. Previously, we want to buy. Why do we want to buy this? Because we're going to assume, which you're not supposed to, that makes an ass out of you and me. This kind of bullshit, dude, that you've been learning your whole life does not apply to trading. I'm so sorry to tell you. With your 55 moving average, I'm using Fibonacci's. You don't understand. Dude, I've got a book by Ing that weighs about 3 pounds. Ing. E-N-G. Okay, I bought all this shit, dude. I read it all. I've read fucking, and I own like 100 trading books. Okay, 100 trading books. We're talking Wiley and Sons. These things cost like, I bought the Stottlemyre Market Profile. It was $60. I bought them from Trader's Way from Elder. So I've been through this shit, man. The guys that are coming up now, or the guys that are just have like, oh, look at, I found the Renko chart. Great, you got a trade plan for it? Well, not really. You should be killing it on Renko. And Renko would involve breakout trading, but it's not good for market trading. You can't trade at the market with Renko, dude. There's no timestamp. How can you tell what this price is relative to the last price? Is it meaningful that the market just went down 350 pips in 4 hours? Yes. Is that a place to get the fuck in? Why would you even ask that question? It's so retardedly easy to trade. Risk $100 per trade. Put $1,000 stop on a 1K on your market set go. Come on, people. Stop with the 5 pip stops. Trade a whole fucking stop with, we don't even think we're going to end up with the people we end up with. I can't imagine, no offense to really large women, but I can't imagine it being more than an intellectual relationship. We could talk about sex, but it's like, look, we're going into the vacuum, the looming vacuum. Oh man, look how fast it's going. And you could just, in your mind's eye, just think about the 1 minute chart right now. What does it look like? Dude, it's not coming back 1 fucking second. How does this guy, Wayne Dyer, not understand this shit? Why does it react on this fucking half-hour rooftop and scalp off that? How many times do you have to fucking watch these markets play back to get the fucking trick? Now you want to buy here. Well, why is that? Well, because we left a vacuum behind. It's vacuum to vacuum, wick to wick. It's fucking reversals all day long. No nonsense Forex guy's going to tell you he doesn't trade reversals, but you're buying here in a reversal to get in on the cloud, right? You're buying the stop hunt in the yeller cloud. Now, the half-hour cloud, too bad I can't go to the 1 hour right now. We don't have to. If we commit to being a half-hour trader, there's only 48 chances to blow up your account each day. How can you fuck this up? You can't. Is there an auction here? Today there was an auction in the Eurodollar on this day. How do I know? We took out the low. We got trapped down below the floor. We ripped it back up. Then we trapped these goobers that were buying the breakout here. And then they pulled it all the way back down here. It's almost like it's ranging. I just can't take it anymore, man. I can't fucking take watching fucking idiots put on an indicator and not call out the fucking trade. I just got filled on my limit. Boom. I'm going to get filled on limits here too. Because I'm going to buy low and sell high. I'm going to buy low and sell high. I'll even buy at the 100. I got all these fucking orders in here because I spent the fucking effort to reduce my risk. Now, if you want to step up to the plate with your fucking cipher shit and put on 5 standard lots with a 13 pip stop, a Fibonacci stop, go for it. How often can you pull that off? And not to mention, what fucking time frame are you on, bitch? You got a 55 period moving average with a 21 in your 4-hour chart. You're looking for setups. Obviously, you don't trade for a living. You're sitting, let's say that obviously you want to live in a fantasy world. Okay, there's a lot of businesses that are successfully making money that are out of their fucking mind. Look at Facebook. They're so retarded. They're so kind of buffeted around by how they appear. Optics is like, this is Obama's problem. He's worried about how he looks. Reality has it's too ugly. The noise of the market's too ugly to entertain. Look at this breakout here. Wow, the breakout bots are feasting. We're coming into Asia. Did everybody get what just happened in this fucking market? I mean, really? Come on, people. I wonder if tomorrow's high. I wonder if they'll take out. I wonder if I should sell up here. You think? I'm playing back as fast as I can, trust me. So I'm trying to do compressed learning is what this is called. You break out the fucking strategy tester. Okay, bitch, let me see if your indicators work. Well, I went long here in the breakout. Now here you could take directional trades, honestly. But look at the non-directional traders that are making money. Can he make money from not knowing where the market's going? This is one instance. Can he make money from getting on limits, not knowing if they're going to fill? Yes, not knowing is your friend. Now, this is very perverse for people. They don't want to hear that. Okay, the scalpers just sold that new top. You see that? Now they're pulling it back. Did they pull it back to the breakout point? Or are they going to still pull back some more? The vacuum's too big. There's a looming vacuum above that day, too. And that's why it's going up really hard. And are you selling into this vacuum? Good luck. Okay, so if you didn't get in here, Every time you sell here, there has to be a scalp built into that trade. If you think that's a swing trade entry and you do think they're going to take out the high, now I'm going to fix the scale. Another thing I don't see people do, their scales are so scrunched down. I'm like, dude, how many pips are you trying to make, by the way? What are you fucking trying to do? I just like, dude, you can't, just because you wrote a script that makes 300 pip targets, just because you're looking to make 300 pips doesn't mean the market's going to give you 300 pips. In a high probability situation, high probability goes up as soon as your target's reduced. As soon as you ask only to make 10 to 20 pips, your probability of winning goes through the roof. Obviously. I'm trying to fix the scale here. Wow, look at this robot's doing pretty good, although I would have bought here. See, this is the top become a bottom, right? This is the structure. Is this going to happen? Now, I stretch the scale. This is how you've got to look at the market. If you're a scalper, and this one guy's like, well, you're scalping. I'm scalping and swinging because I can't live by swinging alone. I'm not going to sit in some bullshit drawdown on a large position when I can scalp an obvious fucking scalp. This is a place we could revisit. Gee, should we put a buy limit there? Well, of course. Well, what if I don't fill? Dude, you cannot expect to sell everything you built. Every song you wrote's not a hit. Some people are going to like the shit you hate, and I guarantee you that's how it's going to go. If you're a musician, you'd be like, I hate that song. It's so cheesy. Oh, gee, I got long here in the stop hunt. They hunted my stop. I had a cloud that said bye. Oh, gee, look at they hunted this guy. Now, this is when the hunt really disturbs people. They're like, wait a minute. It's getting noisy. It's getting rangy. I don't like this. Holy shit, but I do because I'm like, come on down, fill me. Boom. And I'm waiting for the end of the half hour. I will pull the trigger at the market if I do not fill enough limits. Okay, I'm buying at the market right now. Okay, half hour. I'm going to wait a half an hour now. Can you wait a half an hour? If you're impatient, you need to put up the 15-minute chart and the 30-minute chart and ask yourself continuously, do I have a trade plan for this price behavior? Behavior, price action, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just don't forget I got filled on all these tickets right at the body. Right at this double bottom became a top. This pivot, and this is another thing. Wayne Dyer is doing pivots, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why don't you have an order there? If you believe in that pivot, why don't you have an order there? Oh, look at, they scalped it here. Did you catch that? Oof, that was classic shit, dude. They came and grabbed this. They rip it to here. They trap that guy who's got a buy stop that goes back 3-hour breakout bot he's going along with a wider stop. He may be a trend trader. There's a billion people in here trading, right? There is such high resolution to the liquidity pool that the behavior is so obvious. The phases of the market are so obvious. A lot of people are scalping out and they're selling right now. See, because of this. Not a lot of people, but somebody look at, because you see this bottom become a top in the cloud. So the trend traders are saying, oh no, this is the beginning of our down for the day. And the larger time frame up people, and how do we know it's an uptrend? It's not about higher highs and higher lows and all that bullshit. It's the last known price pulses up. You're overcomplicating this, man. You're on the half-hour chart at maximum zoom in at 200% on Windows 8 right now. I don't need to see fucking high res. I want to see the biggest, chunkiest bars I can get on the screen. It doesn't make sense to have... It just doesn't make sense to be like this. And there's not enough data that's played back. Coming up with trade plans like this, and this a situation like this. Let me start over. I'll just delete all my pockets and zones. What's the trade now? Also, train yourself to, I'm just talking to people that are trading enthusiasts. If you think this template's all that in a bag of SpaghettiOs, then, okay, you're going to go and you're going to say, well, what does it look like here? Let me see, can I trade that? Now, that's like the tick chart trade. To me, this is the tick chart trade, and we can all do that. You should have bought here at these triangle. So here's a pattern look. Instead of the cloud, now we're going to look at patterns. So I'm going to look at major structures like, well, there's this big void back here that we knew we had to buy. We're selling into this right now. Yes, we're selling into that in a grid with scalps built in. Also, every half hour that goes up, we're going to sell. Unless we're long. And if we're long, I can't look back far enough to see the really extreme vacuum, but coming up on the round number. If you sold at the market here, you're getting it filled on limits. At what point are you going to say, oh, I can't take it, I got in too big? Okay, so we're about to hit the 100-yard line. This is 120, $1.23 on the euro. Amazing price, actually. And at the end of the half hour, we will sell again here at the market. So psychologically, and of course here, I don't even know, you're probably getting stopped out of stuff, right? If you're trying to take advantage. Now, you have still had to wait for the end of this. Now, this will be 1 hour straight up. We know, boom, you just sold. You just sold at the top of the hour or at the bottom of the half hour here at the 100-yard line. Boom. How many pips can we make? Well, logically, we're supposed to come back to this, right? If tops become bottoms, then we know there's buyers here, or this is the pivot that's just been established. We don't have to go back further than this. Are we prepared to sell for the next 50 pips? All right, I'm getting filled on more sell limits now. Of course, we don't have the advantage of looking at the monthly right now. If we're cutting into the monthlies vacuums, yes, that matters. I just don't see how this Wayne Dyer doesn't get it. Because selling into this, okay, granted we are short right around this area, and we're not going to do any more selling at the market. If the market chops around, we're done selling at the market. And if our limits, okay, once you start running out of margin that you consider to be, you oversized it because you're too greedy, you put too many limits in, and you're selling at the market too heavy. Because you think, for some harebrained reason, that overbought means something, not in standing in front of the abyss, okay? When you're standing in front of the abyss of a 13-year high or low, this is why people would buy shit that was 52-week highs, okay? It's cutting new fucking territory. It's at 52-week highs. Dude, I want shit that's on the edge of go. It's totally at the edge, okay? But this argues against the reversal. But there's always a scalp inside of any target. Now, look at I'm up on that trade if I had a wide enough stop. You see how we just came down? I'm up on that selling at the round, and I'm up on selling at the end of the hour. Or the half hour, because half hour chart, I don't know which bar is the bottom of the hour. I mean, the top of the hour. So here in the half hour chart, we also have buyers here once again. Now, if we're short, how long are we going to hold this? We just had our first target hit, right? Which we know has to be where the buyers are coming in. The stop hunters of the perfectly queued half hour with the cloud. This is like I'm in the middle of a cherry picked trade, let's say, obviously. And even the breakout traders got in here when they went long by default, and the non-directional traders are up because they took the smallest bar out of all these fucking bars, right? There's a trade plan for these small bars, and then here's the only small bar in the cloud. Now, you could build a robot that gets in on the small bar in the cloud directionally. Okay, you could do that, but the times that the directional cloud is going to get killed is here. You're supposedly in a narrow range, relatively speaking, and the robot's saying, let's sell. Let's only bias to the south side, and he starts to throw in sell stops here. How does that robot do? He doesn't make any money. If he puts buy stops in here, narrow range breakout trading, it's called, obviously, right? This is the narrowest range into Asia. Okay, see the subtleties here? The spread is zero. I guess I must have started saying zero, but it's actually set at, I think, a hard 2 pips. It says zero because now we're going up, right? The trend traders. Now, here's where if you didn't take profits on something here, then you're a fool, because the looming vacuum above, the abyss above, and the bilge below, you can make all sorts of metaphors and analogies of trading. And I say, if you want to teach somebody how to trade, you find out what they do for a living and you describe it in their language, because there's nothing other than the fact you cannot, you really can't control your customers. You can try to persuade them to come into your business, but you can't even persuade the market to come into your business. So the market is totally detached from any manipulation that you could possibly. If your gig in life is to manipulate people and persuade them and sell a line of shit like you're an attorney for a murder, somebody who murdered somebody, you have to spin it, You really can't. Gee, look at the Bears are cleaning up on this one. Gee, I wonder if there's divergence up here. Well, probably. Of course, if you didn't cash out of this one right now, let's imagine you've moved your stop to, or the robot. You never got out, and your original stop's here, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'll let your winners run. I'm on the half-hour chart, by the way. So, I mean, you can think of all the bullshit rationalizations that's going to take place if you're going to be a one-trick pony and trade one position. You're going to be a miserable fuck, but you'd be a miserable fuck if you placed all the tickets I'm placing too. If you took the time to either automate it or don't even trade. Like I'd say, if it's that much work, don't even fucking trade. At some point, all the analyzation in the world and all the strategies in the world don't mean shit unless you execute. Do you see anybody executing trades on the internet? I mean, even on a demo, like even the ICT guy's not like, he'll fast forward the tape and he's in this trade. And it's not like he can't make money. You can make a ton of money. Look at FX Samurai Lee, Sue Lee. He can take an account and flip it. Yeah, you know why? Because he's Asian, dude. He don't give a fuck. He's like, fuck you. Well, you can't really tell that he's. But these are people that can kamikaze fly a plane. Can you imagine anybody? People are coming on the internet. I want to learn how to risk money. Okay, well, you're so afraid of losing money that you're just like, you're never going to be a kamikaze pilot. That's why I first saw Sue Lee trade. I'm like, yeah, guys, he doesn't care. This Samurai Creed, today's a good day to die. You can't be a fucking pussy and trade the market. I guess you can if you're going to sit there like this Wayne Dyer with his fucking 48 indicators pivot trade. He's like, yeah, I shit's a lot of stuff on there. Yeah. He's like the James Cagney. He's like James Cagney was crossbred with Pike. If Pike could speak, he'd sound like Wayne Dyer. But what the fuck has happened to people's brains? They're watching this guy and praising him and, it's a Forex. Here, here's your trend trade right here. Look, you're only buying pullbacks in the cloud too. So this is the thing. A shallow pullback has a tight stop. I mean, there's a list. I could make a list, I suppose. You can make a list. Okay, you need a list for your market orders. What is your stop going to be for your market orders? Then you have to determine your stop entry orders. What is your initial stop? What is your initial stop on your limit orders? You add up all those tickets that you're going to place every day and hopefully by hand, so you're not doing willy-nilly unless you can afford it, and you can throw a fucking blanket of orders out there like a pig. Look at where I got a locked-in profit here. Look at it. Just scalped out. That's why this robot makes money, because it's just able to run a trailing stop. Right there, dude. It's making so much fucking money just from managing the trade. We all know where the market's going, I should say. We all know. Certainly after the fact, if we've had a hunch about it, we go, yeah, I thought that was going to happen. You need to lock into that and build on the fact that you kind of do know where the market's going, but just in case you don't, and this is admitting that you're an idiot or why would you take both trades? In other words, you're going to take the enemy's trade or you're going to do a retail trader's trade? Like, really? You're going to do a breakout strategy? Like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I know. I got to pay the rent. Like, you're going to write like a cheesy song that has 3 chords? I know. It's beneath me, but I will. It's not going to be for the jazz scene. Like, are you a jazz trader or are you a rock and roll trader? You got to figure out, if you don't mind, trust me, I know people that wouldn't mind in a second if I told them. Of course, the one guy I talked to, he's already telling me the market's going to crash. Oh, market always crashes. I'm like, with that kind of attitude, well, just find a way to sell it. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't trade but his view of the market from the news, like this kind of, across the fence talking with your neighbor about the market. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is there still a stock market? Some people probably don't even know there's a stock market. Let's face it. Some people don't give a fuck. They're like, hey, did you see the game last night? But I guess I've always been watching the market. I'm just fascinated by the chaotic, noisy behavior. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like a bunch of birds tweeting. I'm like, exactly what are they saying? Somebody's got to get some algo app for. They have that one that you Shazam. You can find out what song's playing. But can we get something that tells me what the fucking birds are saying outside? I think we're going to get stopped out of this trade, I think. So here's another one. You can watch this robot trade, and you can kind of say to yourself, ooh, that's a cringy trade. I would never take that trade. Well, the trades you would never take, you got to start taking. And the trades that you always take that are winning don't mean that you... I guess if you're winning, then don't... If it's not broke, don't fix it. But what do you consider winning? I heard this guy talking about we're making 12% a month. I'm like, okay, if it's a lot of money in the account, that's a lot of money. Percentages are worthless without a key of on the map they have the key, and so when I found the key on the map, if you ever seen a map, there's a key like what's the distance we're looking at here, people? Like that is got to be the thing, the scale, the size. Now, if we were in the 1 hour chart, we can see there'd be less trades. We'd have cleaner breakouts, but since we were on the half hour, we'd have to be very... And the half-hour robot, like a team of half-hour robots, could make money. Look at this. Supposedly we're selling here structure-wise on close, which is going to be, I don't think a robot can see this, but we've got this top become a bottom here, right on the wick. Not quite a close, but this is the window. And this is where the sellers are coming in at new highs, right? They're always selling the high of the day. Don't forget, they're always buying the low of the day. Reversal traders always sell the high of the day and buy the low of the day. Now, people would say, that is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. You've got to have a better reason to trade than that. Could I please see the MACD? Dude, I don't drive without like fucking at least a gas gauge. Now, that is about what people feel like, I think, without a moving average is that, well, how do I know how far I can, and how about even an air tire gauge? Are you going to look at the tire and go, it looks like enough air in it? I mean, they haven't blown up yet. Or are you going to get a gauge? The new cars have air pressure on the dashboard. Well, that's what trading is now. Oh, look, I got filled on my limit. Go figure, huh? Who didn't have an order at the lonely wick? So you can see all these trades right now. How big are each one of these trades? And the bears are loving it. They're like, dude, we sold the high of the day. Oh, my God. They're like, holy shit. And they can't wait to go after this. I'm buying here too, don't forget. Or you're cashing out, right? One man's entry is another man's exit. Everybody should agree about trading on the time frame they're on. I mean, we can see those trades, right? We can see that kind of trade. We can see the stop hunt. We can see the trend traders. We can see the range traders. We can see just the kind of choppy behavior, which people call noise here, and how we could make money from the half-hour noise. We could also trade passively directionally on buy stops only in an uptrend, or we could trade with shallow buy limits in an uptrend with tighter stops if we think that our cloud or our moving average or our price pulse and the crudest moving average is to say that today's high was higher than yesterday. If somebody told me that, I'd say, we're in an uptrend. It doesn't mean that's not a reversal, though. And people would say, well, now you're contradicting yourself. Well, not really, because there's a trade for the reversal. There's always got to be your scalp in the bag. You've got to take 20 to 50% of the trade off the table immediately. You're just never going to survive these markets if you are a high-frequency trader. In other words, if you're going to do shit on the 5-minute chart based on some triple bottom, here we're going to take out the high of the day now, watch. Sellers, I've got sell limits beyond here. Boom. They haven't filled me yet. They're about to fill me. That's approach. Look at that. They didn't even take out the high day. There are people selling it. Boom. Okay, so this half hour chart, I'm going to sell here. I'm going to wait another half hour and sell. I'm selling in limits right now for the scalps only. I don't think it's going down 300 pips from here. Also, you should have been long here. The long-term traders, I mean, they're going to hold this thing for 3 hours or 5 hours. Okay, they know that there's sellers here, so they got to cash out. So a lot of this is new sellers and people cashing out. Okay, they're pulling it back. So I'm making money on my sell limits right now. And people say, well, what about the hedge? Okay, what if I put a buy limit here now because the sizing that I chose, since I didn't know how far they were going to run that up, I don't know how far they're going to run it up, but I know there's sellers up there. I don't need to know everything. I also know there's buyers down here, so I'll put my buy limits down here. Why wouldn't I just trade with other people? Look at that beautiful scalp off the top of that. Now, this is such a big down bar that if I'm still a bull, I would buy at the end there, or I'm just going to be, I'll buy one at the market there and I wait for these to fill. Okay, and then don't forget this wick. This is a key price now. This is the beginning of a new vacuum. The lonely wick theory. Because that wick is sitting out here in space, right? Look at him rip this back. Now, this is the most gratifying thing you'll ever do in trading, at least for me, is having a big nest of buy limits down here and just laughing and thinking, I've already taken off half the position. The rest I could let float. And I'm actually going to buy more here on limits. So once I want to trade, say I want to trade 220K from 80K to 200K. All right, so constantly my floating equity is, like I say, I bought that retest there. I cashed out here. I had to on something, right? Because we came in and started to. Well, you can't see it here, but I'm sure on the 15, this thing came up to like a little structure here, a little curve. Okay, now I'm holding the whole swing now. And don't forget, the people that look at this time frame, zoomed out like here, are like, okay, new highs. We pulled back. We just hunted out. Don't forget, we stop hunted the last data point just before Asia, which is a big deal. Right? This is a VAC that goes back quite a bit of time. Reversal point pivot, what do you have you call it? But right before we went here and took this double leap and just cut into Asia hard and came back, and we had the top become a bottom on the half hour before our one, and here comes insanity. Don't forget, there's a void above us probably, and the fair value people have already dumped, right? Because right now we're in the middle of this, and here's where the moment of truth is. Did the sellers come in here? Is this the trend is going to be down today after we've kind of chopped out the new highs? And so this is the only thing that matters right now in this moment. Nothing else matters, really, honestly, other than these two data points. Are we going to take this out? Okay, I'm going to buy. I'm going to start buying down here and very heavy right here, all the way down to this top now. So this is a set it and forget it trade. I think I could walk away from this. I know that I have to have orders down here, right? Because this is the ultimate breakout point. And now we've filled this vacuum, and I've only got filled on these tickets here. Since we couldn't stop hunt this guy, I got filled here, right? Just barely. So I just barely got filled there. But why does the market reverse there? Can it be this simple? Our market's really pretty simple, and you're just wanting to see a bunch of fucking lingerie in the scene. You can't have sex without lingerie. Look at this complete structure trade where this bottom becomes a top in time. Sellers come in there, but I just bought that. See, now I finally got filled on the scalp there and the swing. Huge reaction at that level. Plus, it's also the bottom of the hour, the top of the hour. So at the clock, I only buy at the market opposite the last price pulse. I never trade. Like if it goes up, I don't buy at the market. I should have got filled on a buy stop. Or I'm long limits. I don't ever do a confirmation entry because to me that's how you lose money. I only trade against the market at the market. If the market went up, I'm selling at the end of the hour. If it went down, I'm buying at the end of the hour. I never place a market order in concert with the market. I've never. It seems every time I've ever done that, it's like I think I'm chasing it. I think I missed my entry. Okay, I guess I'll. Okay, unless I don't think I'm in big enough and I'm like, holy shit, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not in big enough because I see the big picture unfolding. And that's when I had that aha moment of the void and the velocity of the void fill. Why do you think the fucking market, and I'll ask Wayne Dyer if he's listening, when we see this thing crush up here like this so quickly, I wonder if it could have anything to do with the fact that maybe this is a 10-year high here. Well, look at this beautiful swing trade holding into this. He's at the 40, he's at the 50. Now here, I'm not going to buy. I'm selling. I'm cashing out. See, I had to get out here because of this. We're right in the middle fair value. Now maybe I bought this, right? This half hour, I did buy. I could buy that. I mean, my rule says only buy against the market. Only sell against the market. I would have bought here at the market, and we could see the breakout traders got filled. Non-directional people are short and long. They're in hedge. Trend traders coming in on the cloud on the half hour. We also have the looming void here. Don't forget. There's one here where a lot of sellers will be scalping off of this window, and we have the ultimate remaining rooftops. We have this key level here all the way to here, which is a big thing, but this is more looming because it goes back further. And on and on. This is the 50-yard line up here. So here coming into Asia again. Okay, so that was the end of the day. Now I think they're going to ram this thing back down again. So I want to have buy limits here. And in case we do raid this thing when London opens and stuff, we could actually raid all the way down to here now. So the longer the time goes on, the more impending the vacuums, the more looming they become because this one is very looming now. The longer we march forward in time, the more that could fill. And the ultimate loomage is going to be here. Amazing area is just wow. And maybe we'll revisit that in a few months or a few hours. Here, coming into my buy limits again. So if you look at the market like this and you turn it vertically on a tablet and you're like, okay, wow, look at this thing. Can I trade this or do I need to see more like a landscape view? Now, if I go max zoom and see how, if I zoom out contextually where we're at in there. So here's the, we're opening into the next day. We're selling off. We broke out of Asia. The breakout traders have had their scalps. The limit guys, like me, have their orders in these windows. You have to, if you're going to put orders in that last all day or for 12 hours, if they last for 4 hours, your risk of blowing up your account or making money goes down. So probability of risk is obvious. Let's hope. Here is another kind of breakout of a few bars here. Or you can just be flat waiting for your limits to fill. If I am going to sell up here, I have to have scalps built in because if we crush north here, then it's going to be pretty brutal, right? Because all these are these are starting to be become more attractive prices, attracting price. Oh, just got to fill there on my buying new lows on the wicks there. So depending on how many tickets I have in, and I have a lot down here, and these last all day long. So I want to be committed to buying this area into the future. And then the other thing is put your bring this to the center here and try to give yourself a forward-looking view. price, what could happen exists on the right side, and what has happened is on the left. And people say stuff like, "Oh, you're, the classic line, you're hindsight's 2020 or whatever." After the fact trading. No, I'm trading this. I'm trying to state in my rule set that I will buy the low of the day, and I definitely have to sell up here, even though I need scalps in there. I can't, because once we rip through this hole, if we can take out Asia's high we just did, there's this. Okay, I didn't quite hit it, so I'm still waiting for this to form. We're waiting for London to open. Here's all the shenanigans, all the manipulation before London opens is what's going on. Don't you understand? Here's a lonely wick. I'd start buying here. So if you put in a very narrow hotspot, so you're creating your own hotspots is what you're really doing. You're going to have maybe a limit grid in here. Or you just bought this one. And see the scalpers just got out there. You see that bounce into that low. There was a moment there, just for a moment, where we filled here and they scalped. Those are the scalpers getting out. Boom, see how they're out. Now the new sellers come in. Then the reaction off of this price and how the reaction down here is going to be insane, right? Now we're buying. We just got filled at the asks. Another thing is having your order here doesn't mean you got filled, because if the spread's too wide, this is why you can't be that cheap. You need to have orders maybe on the structure points like this on the clock, because you see I'm not getting filled. I'm filled now, but this low price, I couldn't pay that. This is a 2-pip spread, giving quite a bit of room in the euro. I'm also getting filled. If I go back structurally, and I'm martingaling into this, by the way, if I go to this low here, you see how that was the last known low. And this whole idea of lower lows and lower highs, this one actually is not on close. That is the low of that half hour. And look at the reaction there. So because the market only sees history of time, it's price over time, so it doesn't see. Look at the reaction there. That was a good scalp right to here, right? So if you're looking at the market vertically, and now we're going to come down all the way into these limits now. And then when it gets below here, you need to have a big fat order ticket down here all week long, or all day long, let's say. I do. I'm just talking about what I need. Because also here we have the structural double top from the previous other days here. And we just nailed this top a little bit. Almost we missed it though. See, this is why you can't be looking for this pivot for your entry, because we never made it there. You have to be willing to buy the stop hunt or you're buying the lows from the previous day now. Meanwhile, there's people trading on this so-called cloud. I'm sure they have some system for, I'm going short. Now, here's where you're going to whipsaw, though. Is I should probably take the cloud off, because unless you're going to go to the 4-hour chart and do like, okay, let's see how this auction's more important, though. See this reaction here? Why is it reacting like that? Well, London open, and why did it just sell off the top of that, right? And here we go. I'm going to have to zoom out now. So this is the trade that people don't realize can happen. You're short here because you say the cloud says so-and-so, and then here just blow up your account. And why did we just pull back off of this big void here? Can we see how? I wish I could stop. I could slow it down here. This is my version of stopping it. Okay, I'm going to slow it way down. And let's just take a look at what happened there. Can anybody figure that one out? Okay, this should not be that hard. You should be able to go see this on every fucking chart. If you had sold up here, you're probably already out. Like, you could actually not even be there for that. Now, that's a scalp. That's a scalp bank that you could have placed in Asia. Does everybody see how easy trading is? What if they don't fill? I spent all the time putting them orders in. Okay, this is the problem. You're lazy. Look at this. The lonely wick has filled. Not this one, though, but I'm sure they're coming after it. And hopefully you cashed out because they just ripped it back to the breakout point. This is why you have to cash out here, and you're already out of the trade. That's the trade for that trade. How to trade a vacuum. It's completely different than how to trade a trend and shit your pants as the market. Or how to trade one position, I should say, and watch your equity go up and down, whatever the equity is. Whether it's slowly losing money or slowly winning money, or I would say small amounts of money. What do you want to make $10,000 or do you want to make $10? Want to make $10,000? Okay, you got to risk $500. I don't want to risk $500. Okay, what do you want to risk? You got to figure out that number. Then you got to place your orders, and you cannot control the market. I'm going to go back to normal speed here. The buyers came in here, the confirmation people. Are they going to take it higher? Are they going to take out that wick? I would say yes. Are you going to sell into that? Not everybody's got the balls. They just don't. And if you don't, put your orders on this rooftop and put a big fucking pile up here. But just count on being underwater on any trade you put on, even if you sold at the market here, because I sell every time it's up hard. Okay, what's the reaction going to be here? Oh, look, it came off there. Gee, I wonder why when it came into this window, it pulled back. Well, you can see on the 5-minute chart, there's maybe one 5-minute bar pullback. And why did it react like that there? Oh, gee, golly. I just can't figure out what's going on. And the people that are looking at a 50 and a 55 period moving average and a 21 period moving average don't even understand price behavior, price action. Right? Gee, why did it react like that? Could it have anything to do with this big hole up here? Gee, golly, that looks like a good trade. Oh, that's a reversal trade. Oh, God damn it. Anyways, that's all I got to say. I'm so pissed off.